honey note, wonderful. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a very popular bottle here in my cask. It's a Cragganmore, 12 years old, 40% ABV, and it's not that pricey. It's around 30 euros, pounds, dollars, wherever you look. Cragganmore is part of the Classic Malt of Scotland, and about this Classic Malt of Scotland, there's a tale that this is really the heritage of Scotland, and it's it's a marketing idea from the biggest whiskey producer of the world, and the biggest Scotch whiskey producer of the world. And they looked for 6 different bottles which represent the different regions in Scotland. And they started this Classic Malt of Scotland, I think, in 1988. And before that, there had been a Ascot malt whiskey collection, which consisted also of different bottles in which were an 8-year Talisker, probably, and a 12-year-old Lagavulin, I think. So if you have one of those bottles, very expensive. Well, today in the Classic Malt of Scotland, there are 6. The Cragganmore, which is from the Speyside region, the Glenkinchie, which is a lowland but double distilled, so no typical triple distilled Glenkinchie. It tastes more than a Highland whiskey. Then the Dalwhinnie, from one of the highest whiskey distilleries in Scotland, 15 years old. And then the Oban, a coastal malt, West Coastal Malt, with some, maritime aromas, and then the Talisker, 10 years old. The Oban is 14, the Glenkinchie is 12, in former times it had been 10. The Talisker is also 10, and the Lagavulin, as the most intense whiskey, is 16. And for these Classic Malts of Scotland, this collection of whiskies, they make an advertisement, marketing effort, which covers always all the 6, and this brought them to the top with easy money. So why only advertise for one whiskey if you're able to advertise for the same amount of money for 6? And this, they made their gold run, and today they are the classic. Then there appeared some finished products on the market for each of those 6 different ones. And there is a finished 12-year-old Cragganmore as well. And, enough for the Classic Malt of Scotland. Come over to the Cragganmore. And after the years and the decades of advertisement, people asked for more. At first, they got the finished line of the Distillers Edition, and then they started to have, Friends of Classic Malts bottlings, and from time to time a rare selection, which was typically a lot older. There's a 25 and 29 years old on the market. There had been a cask length, but very rare. And the 12-year-old carries on forever, and this is one of my personal favorite in the whole whiskey business of Scotland. Why this cheap bottle? Well, because it's so balanced. This is, if I would have to name a typical Speyside whiskey, I would always go to the Cragganmore. It's so typical. It's so from the nose, the maltiness, the taste, which is the exact representation of the nose, and the wonderful and long aftertaste. So this is very, very balanced. Have a look at the card box. 40% ABV. An elegant, sophisticated Speyside with the most complex aroma of any malt. No, that's not true. Welcome to reality. It has a complex aroma, yes, but I would not say it's the most complex. Astonishingly fragrant with sweetish notes and a smoky maltiness on the finish. I've never had a hint of smokiness in the whiskey. No, never. Cragganmore, founded by the legendary John Smith. I think there will be a million John Smith in the UK. In 1869 or less. Is for many of the definite Speyside malt. For malt whiskey writer Michael Jackson, it has the most complex aroma of any malt, astonishingly fresh and delicate. So Michael Jackson said this, so they had to put it into quotes. Back in the 1920s, this was voted the finest of all Scottish malt distillers' malts by their blenders, being titled A1 for blending. So this one is a typical Speyside, which brings as a lead malt the typical wished taste into the whiskies. On tasting it, it's not hard to see what those blenders saw. Mature and well balanced with an astonishingly fragrant aroma, the slight fruitiness on the palate is overlaid with sweet, smoky notes with hints of sandalwood. A long finish packed with hints of smoky sweetness brings this delightful, refined experience, so accessible yet so rewarding, gently to a close. Yeah. Okay. I'm afraid there's some artificial color in it. It's stated on the back label, and that I do not have to open this one. There are small bottles on the market for these classic malts. They are too expensive if you buy them single, but if you have a set, then it pays off. No idea how to open that. There had never been a bottle unopened here on my cask. What the heck? Lost. So also these small bottles have corks. Wonderful tiny corks. Here we go. Now I have to rush this whiskey. Those full complexities are only, well, sensible if you have a lot of time. So my time is limited here, and I can only give you always the first impression, which I have, and the second and the third one, well, you have to look after yourself. But the first one is also the most impressing. So what you smelled first in a whiskey will carry on during emptying this bottle. A honey note, wonderful. A wonderful honey note, not sweet, but aromatic, full and fruitiness in the back. Some toffee, some vanilla. So this one is that intense on the nose without the typical, without those typical intense sherries or intense smokiness or those oakiness. No, this one is wonderful in the nose, and it is clear that the people like this, that the blenders like this as a lead malt in their blends. It's present, it's full, intense, mouth-watering, yeah. So without those typical sherry casks and European oaks, this whiskey is mouth-watering. with those ex-bourbon and refill casks, you typically are not able to bring this mouth-watering feeling in yourself. The aftertaste, drier. Perhaps people think that is smokiness. But for me, no, not at all. Not a single ppm. So this is a bargain. For 30 euros, this is a definite buy. A masterpiece of work, and I visited Cragganmore twice, and they still have these cast iron cooler basins in which those pipes are fitted, those Victorian style coolers, and inside they have these wonderful very narrow pot stills. And the distillery itself looks quite small. It is nested into some hillside, not far away from the main road, so it's worth a visit. Thank you very much for visiting my video channel. Thank you very much for giving me a thumb up, to tell you that.